Dear friends, today I am going to explain you another important concept from a CA inter-exam perspective, that's income accrued or deemed to accrue in India. It's another is an important concept along with the residential concept which carries 6 to 10 marks weightage in the CA inter-exam. It's an important concept. Let me begin with this concept. If a income is deemed to accrue or arise in India, then it's taxable in the hands of the whether it's resident or a non-resident. Though from accounting perspective, income may not accrue in India, but if it's falling in this concept, then income will be taxable in the hands of whether resident or a non-resident. This concept, income deemed to accrue or arise in India, is covered under Section 9 of the Income Tax Act. Now, what this section tells about, it tells about the rules how to determine whether income is accruing or arising in India. The rule varies from the nature of income. I have categorized the various nature of income as business connection, activity in India, asset located in India, salary, dividend, interest, royalty, fees for technical service and gift. It means Section 9 is providing the rules for deeming income as accrue or arise in India from these types of income. The important one is a business connection. This is very briefly covered under the in your CA under this CA Inter. The it's covered detail in your CA final examination. Business connection comes into picture when a non-resident is carrying a business outside India and he is carrying a part of the activity in India which is contributing to the profit earned by the non-resident in India. The concept of business connection has not been defined under Section 9. It's only a judicial precedents which prescribe what's a business connection. Section 9 only tells about what is to be covered under business connection and what is not to be covered under business connection. Judicial precedents have held that an activity by non-resident in India which contribute to the profits of non-resident abroad is a business connection. This is a definition given by some judicial precedents. Now let me explain with an example what is this activities by non-resident India would cover. Suppose Mr. X, a non-resident, is manufacturing a specialized gadget in USA. He set up a branch office in India. The role of the branch office is to procure order from India, arrange import of gadget from head office and sold it to the customer in India. The cost of gadget is say 1 lakh rupees. I have denominated in rupees for simplification, and the selling price is 250. The Mr. X is earning a profit of 1 lakh 150 in this entire transaction. Now the entire activity of procurement of raw material, manufacturing is taking place in USA and India. The role of the branch is to procure order and send that order to the head office, arrange the import of gadgets from the head office and sell it to the customer in India. The point for consideration is where this profit of 1 lakh 50 shall deemed to be accrue. Will it be in India since the selling activity is taking place in India, or whether it will be in USA where manufacturing activity is taking place? The point is that the profit is not the result of alone sale activity, but the profit is outcome of the various activities comprising purchase of raw material, manufacturing, sale and other value addition functions. It means that entire 1 lakh 50, this 1 lakh 50,000 of profit has to be divided into these three activities. This your purchase of raw material, manufacturing activity and the sale, and we need to appropriate, we need to attribute this 150 among these three activities broadly. How much amount of profit will be attributed is a part of the transfer pricing which is being dealt under a CA final course. I am not going into that thing. I am only conveying this fact. This, since the part of the activity, that is sale function, is taking place in India, hence a part of the profit will be attributable to sale function, and this sale function is being contributed to the profit activity of non-resident. This branch office activity will be considered as a business connection, hence a part of the profit attributable to that sale activity will be taxable in India. So business connection simple means your any activity of a non-resident in India which is contributing to the profit of the non-resident abroad, and that income attributable to that activity in India will be deemed as the income deemed to accrue or arise in India. So business connection means activities by a non-resident India. Now law envisage three types of activities which can be done by a non-resident India. Activities can be done by non-resident in India himself through branch, which I take in this example. In this case, only income attributable to operation in India will be taxable in India. I mean to say, if a non-resident has a business connection in India, it does not mean the entire profit of a non-resident will be taxable in India. Only the profit attributable to business connection to a business activity in India will be taxable in India, and the rest of the profit will not be taxable in India. This is an important thing, and this concept in detail has been covered under CFI. Our understanding here must be confined to only what's a business connection envisaged by section 9 and how much of the income is taxable in India. The activities can be carried by non-resident in himself. This I have covered a little bit down. Activities can be carried by non-resident through dependent agent. And another important aspect which has been recently added to the concept of business connection, significant economic presence. I will cover all these things now to explain the concept of business connection. Now, activities can be carried by the non-resident in India, not falling in exception. Means law envisages, law prescribes certain activity, though it amounts to business connection, but the income attributable to that activities has not been deemed to accrue or arise in India. Let me cover what are those activities. Activities by non-resident not amounting to business connection, no income deemed to accrue or arise in India. Means if a non-resident is carrying on these activities in India, the income arising therefrom will not be deemed to accrue or arise in India. This exception must have been given by law from specific angle. Let me explain you. The first exception is purchase of goods in India for exports. It means if there is a branch office of NR in India, the operations of the branch office is only confined to purchase of goods in India for exports, then this activity though amounts to business connection, but the income attributable to this activity will not be taxable in India. This is an exception must have been given to promote exports from the India. The second activity, which is collection of news and views in India for transmission out of India, and this exception is available when non-resident is running news agency or publishing newspaper or magazines abroad. Means if non-resident is engaged in these activities, running a news agency, publishing newspaper or magazines, then activity in India confined to collection of news and views in India for transmission out of India, again the amounts to business connection will not be taxable in India. I have wrongly mentioned here not amounting to business connection. I am just deleting this part. This is an error on my part. These activities though amount to a business connection, but the income attributable to such activity is not deemed to accrue or arise in India. So question says whether these activities amount to business connection. Answer is yes, but the income attributable to such activity is exempt from income deemed to accrue arise on India. The third exception is shooting of cinematograph film in India. This exception is available only when individual non-resident is not a citizen of India. Where this activity is carried by firm, then no partner is a resident or a citizen of India. If this activity is carried by a company, no shareholder is a resident or a citizen of India. Means in these three activities, even though it's amount to a business connection, income shall not be deemed to accrue or arise in India. Apart from these activity, if non-resident is carrying on any activity in India, then an income attributable to such activity will be taxable in India, and that activity will amount to a business connection. Now I come another aspect which is called deemed activities in India. Again, this aspect has been recently added to expand the concept of business connection. The object is to, in today's scenario, because of the digital mode of doing business, lot many non-residents are doing activities from abroad, but they are earning substantial revenue from India. And Indian government recognize this aspect, and they don't want to lose their taxation because of such activities of India. These activities I am calling deemed activity in India. Means these activities are not carried by non-resident in India. Non-resident is carrying that activity from abroad, but the object is the activity is somehow linked to India. Non-resident is earning revenue out of that activities. Now what are these activities? First, advertisements which targets customer who reside in India or who access such advertisement with IP address located in India. I explain this with a simple example. Say a person is selling and specialized gadgets, say abroad in USA. He advertised that gadgets through Facebook. Now he advertised such gadgets through Facebook in such a way that Indian customer should view such an advertisement. The object of such non-resident that Indian customer, Indian person who reside in India should view that advertisement, give an online order, and that non-resident will supply that specialized gadgets from USA directly. In this case, non-resident is not carrying such activity in India. It's only in a cloud manner, in only through the digital manner. The this non-resident is targeting the Indian customer. In this case, the income attributable to such advertisement will be taxable in India. Means such advertisement will amount to business connection, and the income attributable to this advertisement activity, even though such advertisement is not being carried in India, but the concept of business connection has been expanded. Hence, the advertisement which a non-resident is carrying out from abroad, but we target the customers residing in India, then income attributable to such advertisement will be taxable in India, because it will be categorized as income deemed to accrue and arise in India. The next expansion of the concept of business connection is this: sale of data collected from the person who reside in India, and you used IP address located in India. It means suppose a non-resident, say a non-resident, I write here, say Mr. A non-resident collects data from the collects data from Indians. he sell this data to another resident B who is also a non-resident. Now this transaction is taking place abroad, but the base of this transaction is the data collected from the Indians, or rather who reside in India. Why law this cover this activity under business connection? Because why B is purchasing this data? B is purchasing this data because he must want to sell goods to the Indians, because he is using the data collected from the Indians. And this activity of A to B means the selling of this data by A to B, though there is a no activity has been done in India, but since the base of the data is collected from the Indians, hence this activity of collection of data is deemed as a business connection. Hence the profit attributable to such activity will be deemed to accrue or arise in India. This expansion has been done by Indian government especially because of the digital mode of digital mode of doing business. The next expansion is your sale of goods or services from abroad by using the data collected from the person who reside in India or who use IP address located in India. Again, what suppose in this example only, B has purchased data from A. A has collected this data from the Indians. The activity of A will amount to business connection. Proportionate profit will be taxable in India. Again, suppose by using this data, B sell goods to Indians. B is selling the goods from abroad. He is not doing any activity in India. What the law says, sale of goods or services from abroad. But he is selling these goods and services by using the data collected from the Indians. Hence, this activity of selling goods, even though sale is taking place from abroad, but this is activity is deemed as a business connection under the expansion of this definition of business connection. Hence, the income attributable to such activity will be deemed to accrue or arise in India. Hence, these three activities, even though the physical activities are not taking place in India, but law now deems these activities amounts to business connection. Hence, income attributable to such activities will be taxable in India. Now, I cover another aspects. Activities can be carried by non-resident in India himself, that we covered. It could be actual activity not falling an exception. We have covered three exceptions, and this is the another category. This is the latest amendment in our law, and there is a possibility of being evaluated such amendment in our upcoming exams, because till now to my understanding this concept has still not been evaluated in a CENTER exam. Now I cover another way which are law consider as a business connection, that is activities carried by non-resident through dependent agent. Means a non-resident can carry an activity through himself, or he can carry out similar activities through a dependent agent. I am focusing on this word dependent agent. I will not go in detail about this because otherwise that this discussion will become too lengthy. Now let me cover what are the activities carried by non-resident through dependent agent which will amount to your business connection. Now let me explain what is the dependent agent. An agent who work mainly or wholly for non-resident, means a person is doing entire work for non-resident. He is not doing work for any other principal. This is a little bit and means this has some other points which I am not covering here. Simple dependent agent means a agent who works mainly or wholly for non-residents. Now, what are the activities which the activities by dependent agent will amount to business connection? Agent finalize the contract on behalf of principal, or agent do not finalize the contract but play principal role leading to finalization of contract. It means he is doing all the necessary, he is doing means he is negotiating the contract, he is finalizing the terms and condition of the contract, but he is not finalizing the contract. He is playing the principal role leading to finalization of the contract. Only non-resident sign that contract. This category covers the case where agent himself finalize the contract. Here agent play principal role. Means he is not finalizing the contract. Contract is actually being signed by the non-resident, but the all groundwork has been done by the agent himself. If agent is carrying out these two activity and the contract has either of following elements, then this activity of agent will amount to the business connection. What are these? Contract is in the name of non-resident, simple case, or contract is for the transfer of ownership. This can cover a case even though contract is not in the name of the non-resident. It could be in the name of agent on behalf of principal, but the what the contract provides, transfer of ownership or granting right to use property owned by non-resident, or the non-resident has right to use that property. It means simple, if I simple says agent finalize the contract for sale of goods on behalf of non-resident. Now this activity of this non-agent will amount to business connection, because the in this what I explained, the non-resident is not sorry, my mistake, agent is only doing an activity of transferring the ownership of goods on behalf of this non-resident. Means in other words, in simple sense, you will appreciate this basically amounts to an indirect activity by a non-resident in India. Non-resident could have set up the branch in India, but to avoid the cost, he availed the activity of an agent, and this activity of an agent will amount to this business connection, and profit attributable to such activity will be taxable in India, because it will be deemed as income deemed to accrue or arise in India. And third element is that the contract provide for provision of services. This clause is with reference to the goods and this clause is with reference to services. Means if a contract provides for the transfer of ownership or use of the goods owned by the non-resident, or contract provides for the provision of services by non-resident, and such contract is either finalized by the agent or agent play a principal role leading to finalization of such contract. In these cases, such activity of the agent will amount to business connection, and that income attributable to such activities will be taxable in India. In my continuous discussion, I am focusing again and again on an income attributable to business connection. Means if a non-resident has a business connection in India, इट डज नॉट मीन कि उसकी सारी इनकम इंडिया में टैक्सेबल होगी, उसकी वही इनकम इंडिया में टैक्सेबल होगी जो बिजनेस कनेक्शन को हम एट्रीब्यूट कर सके, बिकॉज सम वैल्यू एडेड एक्टिविटी इज कैरिड ऑन इन इंडिया एंड प्रॉफिट attributable to that value added activity will be taxable in India. Second activity of agent will amount to business connection. Agent maintain stock in India from which agent deliver goods on behalf of non-resident. Means agent is simply carrying out a warehousing activity. He got an order from the non-resident to deliver goods to a customer in India. Agent carried out that activity, and this activity of maintaining stock in India will amount to the business connection. Another activity of agent which amounts to business connection. Agent secures order in India for non-resident. What it means, agent is neither maintaining stock nor finalizing the content. He is simply a licensing person who is obtaining a order for the non-resident, and non-resident is supplying that goods against that order directly from abroad. If non-resident, if sorry, if agent is carrying out these activities in India on or for behalf of non-resident, this will amount to a business connection. I just explained an important concept which is not directly coming from the language but which is an interpretation. Say suppose suppose agent carried out these activities, all three activity. Will it amount to business connection? Answer is big no. Because when these activities by non-resident himself does not amount to business connection, how these activity by agent will amount to business connection? So if agent is carrying out these activities, then also it will, though amount, my mistake, it will not amount to business, it will amount to, sorry, business connection, but the income will not be deemed to accrue or arise in India. I just repeat, if agent is carrying out these activities, it will not amount, it will amount to the business connection, but the income attributable to such activities of agent will not be taxable in India. मीन्स ये एक्टिविटी एजेंट करेगा तो बिजनेस कनेक्शन कहलाएगा, बट उसके कॉरेस्पॉन्डिंग कोई भी इनकम इंडिया में डीम टू एक्रू और अराइज नहीं मानी जाएगी। हम लोगों ने अभी क्या पार्ट कवर करा? हम लोगों ने कवर करा बिजनेस कनेक्शन। मीन्स व्हेन अ बिजनेस कनेक्शन विल बी, कब बिजनेस कनेक्शन इंडिया में माना जाएगा और उसके कॉरेस्पॉन्डिंग कब इनकम डीम टू एक्रू और अराइज इंडिया में होगी। नाउ द अनदर थिंग विच इज covered now, activity in India or asset located in India. I just missed the important part. Sorry, significant economic presence. Now I cover another part of this business connection. This is again a latest amendments in a latest amendment. Till now, again, institute has not evaluated from this concept. This is a deeming, which is this concept. A deem thing means a non-resident is carrying a business activity. The word used here is a significant economic presence. It means the theme behind this concept is if a non-resident is deriving substantial revenue from India, even though he is not carrying out any activity in India, then also law deem he is having a business connection in India. What I told you theme is, what is the theme behind this provision? India non-resident is deriving substantial revenue or Indians using services of NR. It means non-resident is not carrying out any activity in India. Let me explain what law has covered this thing. Non-resident received, I am explaining you what is significant economic presence. Non-resident received an aggregate payment in excess of 2 crores in previous year from person in India. And why he is receiving such 2 crore? It's arising out of transaction by NR in respect of goods, service, property or provision of download of data software in India. In simple terms, if non-resident is selling goods, services, or providing any services, or providing property is being used of non-resident, say he's providing the server facility, cloud server facilities, or he's providing the software facility. He's carrying out all these activities from abroad, but the aggregate revenue, which aggregate payment which a non-resident has received from all the activity from all the persons in India is exceeding 2 crores, then this activity of a non-resident will amount to business connection, even though non-resident is not carrying out any activity in India. The theme behind this is to tax the non-resident who is deriving substantial revenue from India without carrying out any activity in India. The law deems significant economic presence as business connection. This amendment is being introduced just to cover the digital mode of doing business, so that if a non-resident is getting a substantial revenue from India without actually carrying out any activity in India, law deems such activities as a business connection, and again income attributable to such business connection will be taxable in India. Another thing which law deems as significant economic presence is systematic and continued soliciting of business activity in interaction with 3 lakh users in India. This is the case even where business discover the case where the aggregate payment may be less than 2 CR, but he has interacted with 3 lakh users in India. Such activity will again be treated as a business income amount to be treated as significant economic presence and treated as a business deemed as a business connection. Means business non-resident is dealing with 3 lakh user in India. He is deriving from the law perspective, he is deriving significant revenue from India, even though that amount is less than 2 CR. Means two cases are covered. If he is getting 2 CR payment from India, it's a significant economic presence. Even if payment is less than 2 CR, but he is interacting with the 3 lakh users in India, this will amount to significant economic presence. This is a small concept but has a wide implication, practical perspective. But from exam perspective, you should just understand what is the significant economic presence. Now, I just simply said transaction will constitute significant economic presence whether or not agreement for transaction is in India, out India, non-resident has a residence or a place of birth in India or not, non-resident whether render services in India or not. Means it's irrespective. If these two criteria are fulfilled, it's a significant economic presence, it will amount to the business connection. Now let me cover another activity which will amount to another activity from which income shall deem to accrue arise in India. Here, though it says activity in India, but the theme behind is other than PGBP. Means PGBP means business income is covered in this business connection. Here, what law covers any non-resident which carries out activity in India, or simple I can say it's cover the cases of income from other sources. Simple to appreciate the concept, because the theme behind this concept is where is the source of income. In this case, law deems that source of income in India. Let me cover this case. Income from activity carried out in India. I gave an example. Suppose some famous football player come to in India for visit, but during the course of visit he renders some coaching. He render football coaching to Indians and earn income. Now this income is being earned in India because the source of income is the rendition giving of the coaching in India. Hence, the income will be taxable in India even though he must have received amount directly in his abroad bank account. The activity is being carried out in India. Another case where income shall be deemed to accrue or arise in India, income from asset or property located in India. Simple case, if an asset is located in India, for example, a non-resident installs servers in India and getting a rental income out of that servers. So servers are installed in India, servers are given on lease in India, the income therefrom will be deemed to accrue or arise in India. Assets covers movable property, property covers immovable property. Say non-resident has a building in India and he is earning rent therefrom. Now this is again a property situated in India. The rental income therefrom will be taxable in India. It's a simple case, not a tough one. Third case, income from transfer of capital asset situated in India. This covers the case capital asset situated in India, income from transfer. This covers the case of capital gain. If a capital asset is situated in India, then the income arising to non-resident. Let me give you an example. Say A is the non-resident. He is holding the share of Reliance India. Since Reliance India Limited is an Indian company, his shares are deemed to be located in India. Non-residents sell these shares to be another non-resident abroad. Since the sale transaction is taking place abroad, but the underlying asset is your capital asset situated in India, the income, the capital gain arising to non-resident will be taxable in India because the underlying asset is the capital asset situated in India. So this case covers the actual activity by non-resident in India, income from asset or property in India. Example is self-sufficient, income from transfer of capital asset situated in India. I hope this example must have cleared the concept of transfer of capital asset. Now comes the another source of income, that's salary. What's the rule regarding the salary being deemed to accrue or arise in India? Let there are two the law has covered the two cases where employer is the government of India and where employer is any other employer. If the employer is non-government of India, then salary is accrued in India if service is rendered in India. Very simple rule, no technicality. Here the law has gone a little bit more, means has become more severe. What law provides, सपोज एक नॉन रेजिडेंट इंडिया में आता है काम करने एक प्रोजेक्ट के ऊपर, उसका एम्प्लॉयर बोलता है यू वर्क इंडिया फॉर 3 months एंड बिकॉज यू वर्क इंडिया फॉर 3 months आई विल गिव यू 1 month paid leaves. In this case, the non-resident has actually worked in India for 3 months, but since he is getting 1 month paid leaves, means he is getting a 1 month rest period on account of being worked in India. In this case, entire 4 months will be taxable. The salary proportionate to that 4 months will be taxable in India. What law says? Salary payable for rest period or leave period which is preceded or succeeded by service rendered in India and forms part of contract of employment shall be deemed to accrue. आई होप एग्जाम्पल के लिए दोबारा बोलता हूँ. एक एम्प्लॉय 3 महीने इंडिया काम करने आया नॉन रेजिडेंट, उसके एम्प्लॉयर ने इंडिया 3 महीने काम करने इंडिया भेजा और बोला 3 महीने काम करने के बाद मैं आपको 1 महीने की लीव दूंगा, पेड लीव दूंगा, मीन्स योर सैलरी विल नॉट बी डिडक्टेड. इन दिस केस इंडिया में जो सैलरी डीम टू एक्रू और अराइज मानी जाएगी वो 4 महीने की मानी जाएगी बिकॉज द रेस्ट पीरियड और लीव पीरियड in is on account of service rendered in India and form part of the service contract of employment. एग्जाम में इस पे भी इवेल्युएशन आ जाता है. सेकंड थर्ड पार्ट, इफ एन individual has rendered service in India and after retirement he is getting pension, that pension shall always be deemed to accrue or arise in India wherever that pension is received, whether in India or abroad. So pension is in connection with the service rendered in India. I hope this is clear. I have given an example. This example I will cover in a different lecture. Now, what is the rule if an employer is the government of India? If employer is the government of India, salary always accrued in India if employee is citizen of India. If employee is citizen of India and he is the employee of the government of India, then his salary will always be deemed to accrue arise in India, whether service is rendered in India or abroad. Here gives I cover another aspect. Sell allowance or perquisite for rendering service means if an employee is rendering service abroad, then allowance or perquisite on this salary will not be taxable in India. It's made exempt under section 10. It means if employee is rendering service, if employee is citizen of India whose employer is government of India, if he is rendering services abroad and he is getting allowance or perquisite for rendering service abroad, then these two elements is being made exempt from taxation. Hence, only basic salary will be taxable in India. I give you an example. It will clear this concept. Mr. X, a USA citizen, was sent to India first time in India or 1421 to work on Indian project. His salary is 2 lakhs per month. Determine how much salary is taxable Indian following two cases. He stayed in India up to 30th 621. In this case, in both these cases, whenever question comes about the foreign income or a foreigner, you need to determine the residential status. Now let us see what is the residential status in this case. In this case, non-residents stay in India for 91 days in a previous year. Since he has come to India for first time, he is not satisfying either condition of being resident 182 days or more or 60 plus 365. He is not satisfying this criteria. He is a non-resident. Now, how much salary accrued in India? He worked in India for 3 months. So 3 months salary, that 6 lakhs is salary accrued in India. And when a person is non-resident, only income deemed to accrue or arise in India will be taxable. Hence, only 6 lakhs will be taxable in India. Now comes the another case. He stay in India up to 31st October 21. His stay in India is for 214 days, hence residence, because his stay is 182 days or more, hence he is a resident. But since he comes in India for first time in India, he was never in India, he is satisfying the one of the condition of resident but not ordinary resident. Stay in stay in India for less than 730 days in past 7 years. Since he is satisfying this condition, so he is not ordinary resident. And when person is not ordinary resident, then his only one income, foreign income is taxable. The income from business set up outside India, control from India. But since he is only a salaried employed and he has rendered service in India for 7 months, hence his 14 lakhs income will be deemed to accrue arise in India and his only 14 lakhs will be taxable in India. Though he is a resident but not ordinary resident, but this concept has no relevance when person is deriving income from the salary source. Hence, only salary accrued in India will be deemed to taxable in India. Let's cover another example. Mr. A, Indian citizen, leaves India for employment outside India first time. Mr. A never went abroad. He is leaving India for first time in previous year 21-22. His salary is 1 lakh per month. Determine taxable income in India in following two cases. He leaves India on 30th 6. He leaves India on this. Again, what I said earlier, before arriving at the taxability of a foreign income, we need to first determine the what is the residential status. Now comes the case. He leaves India for a 30th 6. He is non-resident. Why? Because when a person leaves India for employment in a previous year, he is resident only when he stay in India for 182 days or more. Since stay in India for 91 days, he's a non-resident. And once he's a non-resident, only income accrued or arise in India is taxable. Since he has rendered the service in India for 3 months, so his only 3 lakh rupees income will be taxable in India, which is income deemed to accrue or arise in India. Now comes the this case. He leaves India on 31st 10/21. In this case, he stay in India for 214 days. He is a resident. Since he never visited abroad in the past, he breached both the condition of RNOR, hence his residential status is ROR. Though in this case, salary accrued in India is only 7 months, but since he is a resident but ordinary resident, his entire global income is taxable in India. Hence, the salary for remaining 5 months will also be taxable in India. Hence, his entire 12 lakhs will be taxable in India. So, whenever in exam question comes about the income deemed to accrue or arise in India, you first of all you need to arrive at the residential status. Only then you can attempt this question. So I have covered the salary, the remaining part dividend and fees for technical service, interest and royalty I will cover in my next lecture. I hope this concept जितना भी मैंने डिस्कस करा आपको क्लियर हो गया होगा. अगर आपके कोई भी डाउट्स है इसमें कोई भी क्वेरीज है यू कैन व्हाट्सअप मी. व्हाट्सअप नंबर आपके नीचे इधर आ रहा है. कोई भी डाउट्स हो योर क्वेरीज आर मोस्ट वेलकम.